Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the college football slate, an exciting one, a lot of primetime matchups. We have the Red River rivalry as well as the Ohio State-Oregon game at Autzen Stadium. I did a full breakdown of the Ohio State game, so if you want to check that out on the page, that is up earlier in the week, so make sure you check out my pick in that game. We'll talk about it briefly because it is an official play, but in this video I'm going to give you guys 5 best bets as well as a couple leans along the way, and we'll talk about a lot of games. So this will be a good one. Make sure you guys all like, comment, and subscribe. Last day in Vegas. Let's go out with a boom. Let's cash some tickets, and let's get into this exciting Saturday we have in the college football ranks, okay? That's where we're going to talk about it. We'll dive into Outlier, and I'll show you guys the best numbers available, as well as what I'm going to be on and where the public's at. So let's break it all down, and I'll give you guys my best bets along the way. Okay, this is kind of where we have a first game we're going to talk about. This is within Clemson and Wake Forest. Okay, I do like Clemson in this spot, minus 20.5. We're going to lay the 20.5. That is a strong lean for me. It's not an official play, but I do like the Clemson Tigers. I think that they're going to have their way with Wake Forest. And if we look into this game a little bit in terms of the public betting, where the money's at, it's all on Clemson. So it's something where there's going to be a lot of points predictable within what we have this matchup. Wake Forest will not be able to stop this Clemson offense. I do like Clemson in the first half quite a bit as well. So if you do want to take Dabo Swinney and the Tigers on the road, this is one where I would look into a first half number as well, because I do think they're going to get out to a hot start, score a lot of points, and then obviously there is the chance with a big number with a backdoor in the fourth quarter. But for me, guys, it's Clemson. I think that's just the right side, the correct side. So we'll see what happens, and that will be my first official lean of the day. We'll go down to the board. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the Red River rivalry, and here we see a 16.5 now. This number was at 14.5 for quite some time, so we have seen a lot of movement. And for me in this spot, guys, it's more of a lean, but this number is out of my control. At 14.5, I don't like it. Normally, we do get a lot of points in this matchup, and this is an interesting one because Quinn Ewers is making a return. But for Oklahoma, they are now a defensive-minded team with Brent Venables. But offensively, that's the biggest concern because they have really failed to score. They have not executed in the red zone. It's been kind of underwhelming for them. You look at kind of their last recent games against Auburn, only winning 27-21 against a bad Auburn team, losing to Tennessee 25-15. That's kind of a very similar data point where we're going to use in this. I know all bets are off when we talk rivalry games, but in the Red River one, this is one where a lot of trends do kind of play in. This is something where you saw last year, 34-30. It's always a fun, exciting game. You really have to look into kind of that narrative where crazy things happen in this spot. So this will be an early kickoff. It's noon as per always. But in this game, I would be leaning towards the Longhorns and the under. However, I'm not going to bet it. It's just a lean because that number is now at 16.5. So it's kind of out of control if we're going to really look into the number. Next game, which is a strong play for me, this is going to be Pittsburgh going against Cal. It's kind of a trendy spot. Pittsburgh offensively has been one of the more fascinating teams. They're taking a ton of money. We have seen this number get bet up from 2.5 to 3.5. I liked Pittsburgh under a field goal. So if you can find Pittsburgh anywhere out there, -3, -2.5 would be the best number available. Where we are seeing a lot of money on Cal Bears with the points. But for me, guys, this is something where you look at kind of that loss, that big emotional game day, with the opportunity to beat Miami. Everybody was loving that game. And then obviously Cam Ward with that comeback in the fourth quarter, blowing a 25-point lead. I'll repeat. So that game ended 39-38. Flying over. That's where Pittsburgh comes in this game, and Cal's defense was supposed to be, the next thing better than sliced bread. So that's a lot of points to give up. So if you do lend towards the over, this is a horrible spot for Cal. They have to come off of that loss and then travel east to play Pitt. And this is going to be a game where I do like the Pitt Panthers quite a bit. Very underrated team, very good team. 5-0 in terms of the spread. They are 5-0 against the spread as well. And ATS, that's very good. And 3-2 towards the over. So lean over, but Pittsburgh under a field goal is one of my best bets. Okay. Next game we're going to get into is a lean as well. This will be Stanford and Notre Dame. Okay. We do look into the Fighting Irish here. This is a must-win game. Stanford, this is kind of a down year for them. But in this matchup, I do like the fact that we do get the fact of, Stanford being able to kind of score. They have a dual-threat quarterback. I like them offensively. And if we want to talk about kind of the numbers here, the total set at 45.5. The Fighting Irish are minus 22.5, and the overwhelming amount of money is on the Stanford Cardinal taking the points here in this road spot. So I do like Stanford. That's something where we're going to be on the points. That's a very strong lean. Plus 23. You can find it juiced up. That will be one of my best bets for this afternoon slate within college football. Okay. Next game is another lean where we're going to talk about Penn State and USC. Big game. Penn State goes west. James Franklin and company. And for the USC Trojans, this is a must-win game for both programs, right? Pretty much, you look at USC, they cannot afford to lose another game, but I think defensively and up front, that front seven, it's going to be really difficult. Kind of a little bit of fool's gold we saw against from USC in that first week one matchup against LSU. It was a little bit of overvaluation of USC, I think, in terms of their front seven. And for USC in the spot, it's a horrible one. I do like the Nittany Lions quite a bit. I think that it's a very bad matchup schematically. And if we want to talk about kind of what's going to happen in this game, for me, guys, it's a very strong lean for Penn State -3. Right now, it's 3.5 at -110. But if you can find Penn State -3, that is a bet that I will be making. Okay. Next game, Louisville. That's another lean. Louisville laying a touchdown on the road against Virginia. That would be the side that I would be on. Not an official play, but that is a strong lean for me as well. Okay. And then the next game that we are going to bet, this is a fade against Central Michigan. Okay. I like the Ohio Bobcats -2.5. I think this is a game where we do have an edge. As long as you can find that under a field goal, I do like taking OU. Central Michigan, absolutely horrendous, beating San Diego State 22-21. Ball State 37-34. A very bad loss against Illinois 30-9. This is something where we look at it, and even the FIU game, right, 52-16, getting blown out on the road, traveling down to Florida. It's just where I'm at. I do like Ohio quite a bit. Take them on a money line as well if you guys are building parlays. But that will be one of my best bets along the way, taking the OU Bobcats. All right. And then a couple other games as we get down the odds board. The next one that comes up that we will have a play in, that will be Ole Miss and LSU. That is going to be a very strong lean towards the under. Ole Miss, as much as they get talked about and what they're able to do offensively, this is a team right now that comes into this game and they are 1 out of 1-5 to the over. Okay. 5-1 against the spread, but 1-5 to the over. I think this is where we see a lot of sharp money on the under in this spot. So if I was going to bet LSU, Ole Miss, I will be taking the under 63.5, whatever you can find out there in the market. That's where I'll be at. Also, LSU money line seems to be taking the overwhelmingly amount of the money. Right there, sitting at 69% of the money, despite 91% of the bets are on Ole Miss. So lean towards LSU, but more of a better play under that 63.5, that key number. Okay. Then we can go down into the primetime game that I'll kind of get into with Ohio State and Oregon. This is one where we look at the Ducks being a home underdog, okay, and we saw kind of them hosting, I think it was Michigan, and what that was able to transpire. But this gives me really strong vibes to the Ohio State-Oregon game where everybody thought it was an even set match, but we did get this matchup in the playoffs, and Ohio State came in and just absolutely dismantled them. And I think as we get news that Oregon's defensive key player may not suit up, got hurt in practice earlier in the week, and this is kind of where Ohio State, we're going to look at the key data point, and this one I talked about a lot within the Michigan State game. Ohio State really was in control of that game, 38-7, way better performance. I know 31-10 by Oregon kind of tells the same story from the scoreboard, but if you did watch both of these games, you could definitely tell that if there was going to be kind of a common data point, it's something where you really can take away from that matchup and that common opponent that Ohio State definitely had, more of a game control, and it's something where, if all things being equal, they're just a better team, right? They may have the two best running backs in the country in terms of a tandem, and they might have the two best receivers in the country in terms of a tandem. So Dylan Gabriel, I think he's going to be pressured. I could see this kind of getting into a weird spot. I could see this being a very kind of grinded out, lower scoring game, but I think that we take Will Howard on the road, very comfortable with a veteran quarterback. This game probably is going to be played in the 20s. I do like the Buckeyes, and I will lay a field goal if we get it. Right now, 3.5 is not a number I'm looking to get involved with. So I'm going to wait a little closer to game time. Let's let some money come in on Oregon, and hopefully we can end up getting Ohio State -2.5 or even 3 in the market. Okay. And then a couple other games we could get into. Iowa State, West Virginia. That's another good one where we will have a play in. I do like West Virginia quite a bit. I do like West Virginia quite a bit. It's something where it's a play where you see this number being bet up, where Iowa State's taken an overwhelmingly amount of the money in terms of the line moving. However, we are seeing the more money being bet on West Virginia. Okay, so that's kind of one that does resonate with a interesting line movement, and it's kind of tipping the hand where the money's at. However, I don't really understand why the number's moving towards Iowa State in their direction, despite seeing a very big discrepancy of the bets and the money on West Virginia. So I do like West Virginia quite a bit. This is something where, yeah, Iowa State is a very balanced team. They're coming into Morgantown. That's a very tough spot, but I do like the fact that we do get a West Virginia team that has beaten Oklahoma State 38-14. We saw the game against Kansas winning 32-28, in albeit the very close rivalry matchup against Pittsburgh, where that came down to the wire 38-34. So give me West Virginia. I think that's the right side to be on, so I will be laying it with the Mountaineers. Okay, and then the late game between Boise State and Hawaii. Okay, we're going to talk about that one. Not just in a point spread manner. This is a bet I have. One of my favorite plays of the day is towards the over. I don't think Boise State is going to run away with this one like everyone's expecting. So if you guys are into, playing some props, Ashton Jeanty, one of the best markets out there, one of the best running backs, Heisman favorite. We do get a lot of touchdown props with Ashton Jeanty. Very explosive. If you haven't had a chance to watch him, make sure you tune into this game. I know it's up late for those of you out on the East Coast, but here in Vegas at 8 p.m., I'm going to be watching this one. It's something where I expect, almost 300 yards and another three touchdown performance for Ashton Jeanty. And I do like, albeit it's going to be a running of the football, but those explosive plays, they score a lot quicker than teams that just throw in an air raid style of play. So we look at this and we look at how it stacks up. We could talk about Hawaii in terms of scoring. They're 31st in scoring. We look at on defense, and we look at Boise State. They are the number one ranked scoring offense in college football. Okay, top 3 in yards per play, also top 3 in third down conversion, top 10 in red zone efficiency. I really like Boise State in this spot, but I think that Hawaii does a little bit more to kind of keep it under the number. I'm not comfortable laying 3 touchdowns, but I will take the over 59.5 in Boise State, Hawaii. Okay, so that'll be it. That'll be my best bets. Here is a recap and a rundown of my plays. If you guys haven't done so, make sure you all subscribe down below. Also, if you want to become a channel member, give back. We don't charge for picks here, but sign up, $9.99 a month here on YouTube. Channel memberships are down below in the description. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's go cash some tickets. I can't believe I'm saying this, but go Bucks, and let's have a great Saturday watching college football and cashing a ton of tickets. Appreciate you guys. Good luck. We'll see you all tomorrow for NFL. Cheers.